You can only do those shots that you just enjoyed with the help of a camera like the Insta360 Go Ultra. If you're thinking about getting this cool little camera, the Go Ultra, now is the time to do it, because if you order today with the link down below, using the code down below, you'll get 15% off and a free carry case as long as they still are in stock. So let's get into it. Let's get back to the studio. G'day guys, what's cracking? It's Ralph here and welcome to the channel as we talk about the Insta360 Go Ultra. Whew, what a camera. So the best way to think about this is you kind of get two cameras in one. You get your traditional sort of point and shoot action camera setup that works like this, similar to the Ace Pro 2 because it has a screen on the back that lifts up and pushes down. But then, and this is why you'd buy it, because it has the ability to detach this little camera at the front and you have these two units. This is called the pod, this is called the camera, and the camera works with the pod but separately. Up to 10 meters. So you can take this 10 meters away from this and they'll still stay connected and get a live view on this and live controlling of this of what happens over here. You can take this more than 10 meters away. It disconnects from the action pod, but it still keeps recording, and it'll keep recording for as long as the battery allows or the settings that you've set up allow. Then you just reunite the two, it reconnects with the touch of a button, and you can view the videos that you've just taken. Let's talk universal measurements. This is a golf ball which is bigger than the Go Ultra. Like, are you kidding? And look how thin it is. It's so thin. The Go Ultra has a 1/1.28 inch sensor. This is what it looks like compared to a 1 inch sensor that's in the Ace Pro 2 from Insta360. But it's compared to what used to be in the Go 2 from Insta360 of a 1/2.3 inch. So you can see that you get massive bang for your buck in the sensor region, which is why it gives you some of the benefits that we'll talk about in due course. Also has a 5nm AI chip built in. That gives you better low light ability. It calibrates the colors if you're in a situation where it goes from dark to light. And it can reduce flicker. Flicker are those bands when your shutter speed's not right, which it gives you on-screen instructions, but it's built in that it's going to do all it can to reduce flicker. Everyone hates flicker. Trust me, flicker's the worst. Maybe not the worst. Maybe falling on a chainsaw is the worst, but flicker's pretty bad. Whack the camera back on the pod. We have a screen which pops out and goes all the way up top. So you can see it doesn't matter where your screen is and where your camera is, you're shooting with this, you can actually, oh, it's alive. You can actually set this up and then you can use this on a stand because it has a base on the bottom. So you can use this on a stand or on the ground on a desk to make sure it's pictured right for you to use this. If you use the camera like this, it starts shooting in a landscape or a horizontal orientation. If you start shooting like this, it will shoot a vertical 9:16 orientation. So where you started is the orientation that you're locked into. The pod's turned on by this side power button, and below that you have a quick access button. You can customize that to photography or recording, to start, stop pre-recording, to mark while recording, to enter and exit an album, or to access the settings page. So whatever you feel you would like this side button to do, that's what it can do. On top, we have our shutter button or our go button for video. On the other side, we have our ejector button for the camera. You push it down and your camera doesn't come out. You then have to quite pull it against the magnet. So this is magnetized, which means you can attach it to metal. It's also how it stays so firmly and securely in this that you can shake this around and it's never, ever, ever gonna fall off. It's just gonna exhaust you doing that. You can charge at the side here, and this is the point when you recognize, so the pod isn't waterproof, but the camera is to 10 meters or 33 feet. Then underneath you have your magnetic mounting points, and it comes with a magnetic mount depending on which configuration of accessories you decided to purchase when you got this, but I'm going to make another video about the creator kit that I really think you should get. Has 2 indicator lights on the camera to tell you what it's doing, one on the front and one on the top, and you can turn them off on the settings, no stress. Also has a microphone just here, and you can do noise cancelling, which we'll get to in another video to show you the quality of that. On the back, you can tell how it matches up because you have this little magnetic smiley face, which is the diodes that connect in with the pod. You have the 2 clips that it clips in with the pod here, and then you're thinking, like I did, you're like, well, okay, how do you turn it on? How do you turn it on? Well, it's a hidden button. It's just here, and you push this and it starts recording. I love it. And then you push that again and it stops recording, and then you have your SD card. So this camera has a built-in SD card, so you can put in up to a 2 terabyte card in this, and you do that by pushing it to the side, pulling it, and then you need to get your fiddly little fingers in there to get it in and out. But it's easy when you put it in your computer because you just pop this out, slap it in an adapter, put it in your SD card slot, and you're away. Woohoo. So this is my garage, which is really low light. But what I'm going to do now is turn on PureVideo, and we're going to see the difference it can make. You didn't even know I had all this junk in the background, did you? See, for its size, it packs an incredible punch when it comes to low light scenarios. You need to keep in mind that when you shoot on PureVideo, it's perfect for low light scenarios, but you can only use it on 4K up to 30 frames a second. This is currently 4K at 60 frames a second. And my question to you is, what do you think of the quality? Combining the AI chip, a larger sensor than's ever been in one of these smaller cameras before, what sort of quality are you experiencing from this shot? It's an aperture of 2.85, which is pretty standard for these sort of cameras, but it's point of view, so it's width that you're getting. Look at this is crazy. So I'm less than a meter away, and you can see my full hand span is 156 degrees. Now that's like 1 degree shorter than the Ace Pro 2 and 1 degree more than DJI's Action 5. But you can see as I go in and out of the shadows, as the sun comes on me, it's holding the quality really well. Drop down to 2.7K at 60 frames a second, and let me know if you can see any difference. If you're looking at it on your phone, you probably won't see any difference at all, even when I go to 1080p, but it's important to ask nonetheless. Finally, we hit up 1080p. Why would you shoot in 1080p? Because it gives you lots of different frame rate opportunities, not just the 1080p 60 that you're looking at now, but all the way up to 240 frames a second. Now that's pretty much super slow-mo, and I'll do something really super slow-mo, well, now. Really cool tilt fix option that allows you to compensate, the camera compensates, that allows you to vlog on this without the camera kind of swaying. So it's not so much stabilization that it crops in too much, still gives you that really wide feel, but it allows you up to 10 degrees. So basically if I go like this, then it just drops out. But if I should hold it like this, and I've got a bit of a limp, and so when I walk, that's pretty standard, so it should keep it nice and still and nice and stable. And I'll be moving this a fair bit as I've been vlogging, but it should be bang on. This is what it looks like when tilt fix isn't on, so you can get a bit of a feel like, am I jumping around? I'm vlogging exactly the same. Tilt fix isn't on. Now the other question I have for you is, what do you think about the sound? So I'm speaking directly into the microphone that's on the front of the camera. That is about 30-40 centimeters away, which brings to mind the fact that its minimum focusing distance on this is 30 centimeters. On previous cameras it's been 50 centimeters, which means we can vlog pretty comfortably with a really wide field of view without me being blurry. So I should be pretty sharp. If I get back to the studio and find out I'm not sharp, oh, I'm not going to be happy, but I know I'm going to be sharp because Insta360 can be trusted. That sounds like a little bit like I've scripted it, but I didn't. It just kind of appeared to me right then. The other thing is that you can put your screen on auto off, and so my screen is currently gone off, which is less of a distraction. I know it's framed well, so I know it works. You can choose to have the camera turn off at any interval you like. You can kill the screen at any interval you like, and you can have it fall asleep whenever you like. So you've got a heap of controls about how you have it on standby and how you have it less distracting when you want to shoot something. Now what I'm going to do is, we're shooting at 4K at 60. I'm going to take the camera off the front, So now we are wild. We have all the stabilization turned off. So I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to run and then we're going to turn it on, see how that goes. Just with low stabilization on, and I'm doing exactly the same running pattern, the same running speed and the same gait. Have the camera connected to the pod to change the settings. You can actually do that on the pod while you're looking through the camera as it's separated. We're now on standard stabilization, so let's hear how this fares. Finally, we're going to go high stabilization. It's so small, you just got to be careful. I mean, it's an action camera, so if you drop it, it's not the end of the world, but you've just got to be careful how you hold it. And I've just realized I'm holding it pretty close to my face, so it may be a little bit blurry. Let me know in the comments below if it's blurry. Let's go, high stabilization. So how was that as an experience? Nice, smooth, calm, didn't make you seasick. Didn't make you want to just like, oh, I can't handle this. It was really pleasurable. What do you think? Should be exactly the same as me wandering back now. It takes 12 minutes to charge this from 0 to 80%, and I've given it a burl, and it actually does. You just plug in a USB-C here. It takes 20 minutes to go up to a full 100%, which is kind of insane. On the back of the monitor, it shows you how much power the pod has and how much power the camera has. So what if you put it on 4K 60 and you put it on the highest... Ooh, light's gone. And you put it on the highest bit rate you possibly can, and you start filming. What happens? How long till it overheats? So it has a warning on here. When you click to 4K and 60, it says you've got to be careful. When you shoot this hot, it can overheat and turn the battery off. And so I filmed for 40 minutes, and all it did was eventually ran this out of battery. So I kept it recording. I plugged the camera back into the pod, and then it recorded for a total of an hour and a half with not a single sign of it overheating and packing in. The camera does not overheat. On the highest bit rate, on the highest resolution, and the highest frame rate, you can go hard and it's not going to overheat. If you have it in direct sunlight and it's really hot and humid and you're in a sauna and it's tucked under some blankets, I cannot be held responsible for what happens in that space, but general use, it's not going to overheat. So you're really getting a durable product for the climate and the environment that you may find yourself in. So we have this on mega wide, and it's on a 4:3, so it's nearly square but not quite. So I want you to look at the 4K experience of this at 60 frames a second. Then I'm going to jump over to 4K at 16:9. And I imagine you're automatically thinking, gee, it was even wider on the 4.3 as it was on the 16:9. So good to keep in mind that you have all these options available as you get used to using this camera. This is the MegaView to show you how wide this lens actually goes. This is ultra wide, not quite as big as Mega, but still pretty ultra wide. Next we have de-warp, that if you're doing any sort of formal shooting, de-warp's what you use, that takes all the warp and the sway out of a really, really wide lens, makes it nice and straight, but still really wide. And then we finally have linear. Linear is the closest thing to a 35mm. This is obviously a bit wider than a 35mm, but it comes as close as you can to having everything straight and cropped in. So if you want to zoom in, you do this, and then if you double tap on the screen, so look at this, with clarity zoom, I can actually zoom into twice the zoom, which still holds the 4K clarity and quality, but means you can bring in that extra leap to really frame your subject well and accurately, as opposed to the traditional action cameras that start off so wide. It's really hard to get into some of that detail. It's one of the unique things Insta360 bring to the ecosystem of action cameras. So this is with no HDR on. Now we have the HDR on, and bring him out more so he should be clearer. So this is with it on, and this is with it off. On, off, on, off, on, off. Now perhaps a limitation to this, and I don't know, I don't make cameras, but it would be great if there was a way to charge the camera separately. It has to be in the pod to be charged. There's times when you have it separate, and it'd be great just to plug a USB into it and have it, like if you've got it magnetically doing a time lapse against something and you want to just plug it in, you do have to go through the pod to charge that. But you can get 70 minutes out of the camera when it's shooting at 4K 60 on not a high bit rate, or you can get 130 extra minutes using the pod as well. So that is 200 total minutes of shoot time just on a battery that you're not topping up, that you're not plugging into direct power. You can, while you're recording, plug this into power and it will keep filming for as long as the card can handle it. The unique brilliance of this camera allows for the POV, the point of view experience. So whether that's playing pickleball or, as you'll see in a minute, playing soccer, it gives you a unique insight and vantage point that you just can't get with other cameras. And it's so easy because of the mounts that you have available to you to put it anywhere and do anything with it. To further that thinking, it has a magnetic back, and so I put on a time lapse. I stuck this to the side of our metal fence, shot a time lapse with it, and it came up perfect. It was so easy to get this result, and all I needed to do was square it away once it was mounted, which I could do by looking at the screen. The two things that Insta360 wanted to achieve with this camera was a massive field of view, which it absolutely does, and secondly is to have it portable, sleek, inconspicuous. So it doesn't have any branding on it. It really melts into your t-shirt if you have it here, so you can carry it around without looking like a goose and be able to film whatever's in front of you from that POV experience. Now you'll also notice that the button here, when you press it, you want to give it like a second or two before it starts recording. A couple of times I've pressed it, jumped straight in, and actually hasn't recorded that first word or so. So you just want to be sensitive when you click it on and you're ready to go, like you push it on and you let it fire up, and when the lights are on, there it is, it beeps, then you go for it, rather than getting too enthusiastic and going too early. This is an amazing little camera. It allows you to do stuff that other cameras cannot do. Thanks Insta360 for sending this to me. It's been wonderful to partner with you guys, and I can highly recommend this. If you want to get one today, 15% off down below. You'll get a free gift, a carry case if you do that. Make sure you use the code and get in before stocks run out. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share it to anyone you like, and get rid of the fly around my face, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, spider web. Yeah? That allows you to survive a spider web attack. Fly around my face, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. And if you're stuck around for the outtakes, I'm going to let you know that I have to be out here because my studio's been transformed into basically an Airbnb for the weekend for our in-laws. So yeah, we've had to go outside. That's why it's a little bit of a chip-chop in the video, because can't be inside, so we're out here. Well, it's things you do for family, right?